It's another beautiful Monday morning, ladies and gentlemen, and we are here for you, the Locker Room Central, episode number 10. Trent, this is big.
Mission X, accomplished from us.
Yeah. Anyway, we are here for you, and we will always be here for you. And this week's episode is going to be a very, very educating one because we have in the house a prolific sports journalist, the man that knows the job, the man that some of us learns from. Ladies and gentlemen, Bright James. Welcome to the house.
Thank you very much. It's a fine morning to return here. Well, congratulations. It's 10 episodes already. Great job, guys.
Thank you so much. We're trying.
Yeah,
We're trying.
You're doing a good job.
All right, Bright. Welcome. It's nice to have you here with us. And like I said, this week we want to dive deep into some very important conversations that has been making around the world of sports as far as football and other sporting activities concerned here in Nigeria. And very importantly, we want to throw more light to the situation around recently the Super Falcons of Nigeria won the WAFCON, the Mission X, like you said. Mission X was accomplished, and a whole lot of quarters where it was excitement and prize money flying here and there, reward money, if I would say it that way, flying here and there. Trent, what do you think this means to football, female football here in Nigeria?
Well, it's motivation. I can say that for a fact because it's very rare we see this in female football when you're talking about Nigeria as a nation. We only focus on male football, even from the domestic league here. We focus more on the NPFL, even the NNL, and even the Super Eagles of Nigeria too. So I think it's really deserving because the last time out when the Super Eagles, they were in the continent, in the AFCON, they did not win it, but when they came back, they were rewarded. So the Super Falcons, they went there, they conquered, and they won it. So they brought the trophy back. So I just feel they deserve it too. So I understand so many people are saying that so many controversies about it. Workers, like people that work in government work in Nigeria, they will work for about 35 years without getting such amounts of money. Let's not forget that football is a short-term career. It's a short-term career. You're working 35 years. There's no footballer that will play football 35 years in Nigeria. The Super Falcons, maybe 10 years or 15 years, you are done with the national team. So I think it's deserving. Yeah, it's deserving. If they are questioning the footballers, they are questioning the Super Falcons, then they should question the politicians too, because the politicians in 8 years make times 10 of what the Super Falcons made, and no one is talking about it. So for me, I think let them not just focus their attention on the Super Falcons. Let them focus their attention on different aspects too. Maybe if the government is good, then
Bright, I actually wanted to start with Trent so you get to understand where I'm coming to you, because I want you to tell us more how you feel about this situation, because prize money, reward money. But there's more to this, because after this, we saw some state governors calling up some members of the squad that were from their states, giving them some reward. Some other clubs that actually won medals in the course of the season were rewarded by their state governors, which we didn't see that happen before that reward for the Super Falcons. Now, what do you think about this, and where do you think this is leading us?
I'd like to maybe correct an impression. Start with, I heard Trent talk about, the Super Falcons, and people questioning the Super Falcons and why they're getting that amount of money. I don't think the conversation is about the Super Falcons and how much money they're getting. The conversation goes beyond just the football or sports. The conversation is about the reward system in the country and priorities. All right, now, he talked about 35 years. Guess what? There are people who don't earn that much, even in 35 years. But that's what someone has earned with just one tournament, right? People look at football like entertainment. And let's not forget, this is not the only source of income, right? So this is just one tournament. But we're talking about people who labor every single day. And you look at what they get in terms of salaries and maybe pension and gratuity summed up, They don't get up to that. All right, so it's not about football. It's not about the Super Falcons. It's about the reward system. You know, people are simply saying, well, if you can dole out that much as a government to celebrate the Super Falcons of Nigeria, then that means you can do more across all sectors of the economy. For instance, there's education as well. How much do our teachers get paid? They always say, oh, the reward is in heaven, right? Now you look at other spheres, the medical field as well, the doctors, the nurses. Now we'll talk about a system where there's a lot of the Japa syndrome. I looked at COVID alone. During that COVID, I read it, I looked up the stats, in one of the national dailies. And we saw over 1,000 doctors and nurses left Nigeria for abroad just during COVID. Right? We're talking COVID. And now we're talking about a system where the medical field is understaffed. You go to the hospital, 100 persons are waiting for one specialist. That's if you're even lucky to have that kind of specialist, right? And it's across. You go to security, the Nigerian police force. When you look at the United Nations recommendation, right? A policeman per how many citizens? We're way off that mark, right? So the conversation now is not about the Super Falcons. The conversation is we've seen that there's a willpower. We've seen that if government wants to do something, they certainly can. So if you're doing this for the Super Falcons of Nigeria, it only makes sense to also shine that light on other facets of the economy. And now, back to the federal government. Now, it's an indictment on the federal government. They haven't been fair to the Super Falcons. But you can't say the same for state governors. Right? It's not the first time the state governors, let's clear that up. Yeah. It's not the first time the state governors are not following up with what the federal government are doing. The state governors rather, particularly over the last couple of WAFCONs, they've been notable, right? That they want to reward these girls and not the federal government, right? The respective state governor. You look at Onomebi, for instance. The last WAFCON she participated in, she was received by the governor of her state. And you can see that across, different states as well. Maybe not holistically. You can't say maybe there's equal representation. So let's say we had 36 players or 23 players, all right, spread across 23 states. Maybe not 23 states will receive them, right? Because again, you have to look at who's available, right? Who's available and who knows how to play the cards well. Ashley Plumter, for instance, after a tournament, she's looking to get back to the UK or wherever she's based for holidays, right? She plays football in Saudi Arabia, but one of her family is in the UK. The likes of Michelle Alozie, Tony Payne, and the rest of them. One tournament like that finishes, a day after, they're jetting off to the US to be with their families, right? So these state governors wouldn't really have the opportunity to say, oh, Your Excellency, Ashley Plumter is around or Tony Payne is around, we can receive her. Those things are not there. Again, you say maybe it's also an indictment on the state governors, because I think if they're not reactionary, if they play the long game, because I don't think you'd send Ashley Plumter, for instance, a message, oh, I'd like to receive you after the WAFCON. And she'll see that message and turn it down. But we wait to see, oh, they come back to the country, and then what? We're looking to see, oh, if they're available and who's available. But that being said, I think plaudits to the federal government. They've done something they haven't done in almost forever, right? And I'm quite excited about the federal government, this one, right? Because we've seen within a short time, they try to follow through with this kind of promises. For instance, the 1994 squad that won the AFCON, President Muhammadu Buhari, God rest his soul, approved that the houses to be given to them in 2022. But it took this administration to actually, it was approved, we understand.
Yeah.
There's some bureaucratic bottlenecks, that go around that. But it was under this administration that was done, right? And then we've also seen backlog of bonuses, national team salaries, bonuses, particularly across different national teams, cleared this same administration. We heard that before AFCON, the last AFCON Nigeria participated in. And this one, this WAFCON, their bonuses and allowances have been cleared. That happened during the tournament, before the finals. All right, so I see a bit of a political will, right? But people are just saying, if you can do this here, it means you can do it everywhere if you want to. So I like to see it being replicated across different facets.
Okay, Bright. I allowed you so you can actually go deep and explain to us and to viewers as well. But I think I want to draw the light back to football and most importantly, Nigeria, NPFL, NNL and NLO, as the case may be, NPFL, yeah? So the prize money for the NPFL is 200 million. Yeah. That's what you get after playing a whole season, and you get 200 million. And we saw a player after a tournament, like you said,
6 matches,
just 6 matches, earning over 150 million naira.
Yeah.
It can be said that a player is richer than a club, a female club in Nigeria at the moment. Yeah. For instance, the case of the girls from Nasarawa Amazons. Okay, now, don't you think, if this amount of money can be spent for the Super Falcons, don't you think something better should be done as far as football is concerned in Nigeria? Talking about the NPFL, the NWFL, something better should be done, because how do you play a whole season and win 25 million naira?
Yeah, well, I don't think our league is set up to make money. I like to be corrected, right? But I don't see deliberate steps. I don't see people following through with their words. Right? We've had successive leaders across the NPFL. Before that was the LMC, League Management Committee. And guess what? I think it stems from ownership. Right? With the current ownership structure, you can't make money. Governments are not set up to make money. It's a social contract. Right? So, and then you look at the NPFL, for instance, and our leagues generally. Bulk of the teams across from NPFL, NNL, NLO, up to 60% of the teams are state-owned. You look at the NPFL, it's even worse. Up to how many? How many private teams do we have now?
Just about 4.
You know, 4. There's Kun Khalifa now.
Yeah, Kun Khalifa,
right?
Barrow FC,
Barrow
Ikorodu City, and Remo Stars. About 4.
Right? I can't really say Ikorodu City, well, privately owned, but like a collective project.
Community.
Yeah, that's what we're made to understand. Right? So we can now say 16 teams out of the 20 are state-owned. So do they want to make money? I don't think they want to make money. Right? Because if they make money, it now looks like an indictment on, previous chairmen. Because the questions would come. If this chairman is making this money, so how come previous chairman didn't make money? For instance, we've seen what Akben Musa is doing with Canopilas, right? Things that look nearly impossible, right? He's doing with Canopilas. Right now, they've gotten a broadcast deal. RFI, right?
Good one.
Right, that's good. Do we have a broadcast deal in our league? Yes, there's Propel Sport. We hear Propel Sport, but what are the numbers? How much is the league getting from Propel Sports? How much is that partnership worth? How much are the clubs getting? You'd never hear those things. You'd never hear those things from AGM. You would never hear it anywhere, right? And it goes to speak about accountability in our structure. Because maybe, again, the chairman of the state-owned teams don't want this kind of information in public domain. Because if it's in public domain, then they would have to make returns. Do they want to make returns? Absolutely not. They just want to get government subvention every other month, spend it however they want. No one questions that. And you look at government, do they ask these questions? Absolutely not. Because the football is like it's a political tool for them. That's why, again, you see how much, if you talk about corruption, how much money is spent to win the league. Right? Win the league. Why do they want to win the league? Political statement. I won the league. I was the first governor to win the league. I was the first commissioner to win the league. So you're spending, where of a club, state buying a slot. You buy a slot for 500 million. Prize money is 200 million. You're not even talking about spendings during the season. Does that make any sense financially? Right? So economically, does that sound like something anybody's interested in, spending money to make returns? Absolutely not. They're not. Right? So that's why the league is the way it is. That's why I said at the beginning, I'm not sure this league is set up to make money. Forget what anybody will come out and say. Until I see some changes, I see real effort. What the league can't get, Ahmed Musa is doing. He's gotten a broadcast deal for Kano Pillars. All their games will be streamed. Pictures, every media-related thing is going to be sorted out by the media company. That's partnership. We've had deals signed in this country. The NPFL. We had Red Star. And that deal was signed in dollars. Shehu Diko, current chairman of the Nigerian Sport Commission, Sport Ministry, if you like, he was chairman of the LMC. Right? We had that production fee, right? How much that was worth. What happened to the deal? How much money do we get? Nobody knows those kind of stuff. Nobody's asking that kind of question. Right? So, again, forgive me if I say this league is not set up to make money. Right? We're seeing private individuals, when they want to make money, they know how to make money. Look at the story of Remo Stars, for instance. Right? I think the Remo Stars project is a project he's set up to. He balances the books. Talk about Kunle because he's a businessman. He doesn't put his money where he won't get return on investment. Look at the money he gets from participating at the CAF Champions League or Competitions Cup every year, irrespective of where they earn or where they are dumped out. They get money for participating. They get paid in dollars. They come back, bring that money to Nigeria. It does a lot for them. You look at the one that is set up to make money, the beyond limit.
Got Yako.
All right. I spoke with, Honorable Kunle Tsunami and, when I was in Ikene earlier, this season. Selling 3 players go over 2.1 million euros. Right, to convert that to Naira. It covers bills. So what are you saying? Even if it's next 5-6 years. And guess what? 3 players. He continues to sell players because you look at the setup of the team and how they operate. It's far away from the Nigerian thing. You think if Honorable Kunle Tsunami wanted to win the NPFL title, they wouldn't have won it since? Come on, he's one of the biggest investors in Nigerian football across different cadres of our football. The senior national team, where do they lodge or where do they train? Where do they do their campaigns? From Chanigos to the women's team. At his facility, how much does the NFF pay him? Nothing. He picks up those bills. All right? So you think if he wanted to win the league, he wouldn't just call the NFL president, oh, I want to win this league. He would win the league. But they won the league this season because they were the best team in the land. By a country mile. No one can even argue. Right? They went across this country, beating teams on home turf. They had almost the best set of players in terms of the playing squad. They have a consistent, technical setup. You look at the exposure the players get in the national team and back here, the coach gets as well. Now do you know Gumundede was with his club in Portugal? He owns a club in Portugal. He was there for a year, 2 when Benga Ombite was here. Went there to learn the ropes, be there, study how it's done, and bring that setup back to Nigeria. When he came back, Gumundede was fired. Or Gumundede rather. Was fired. And he got the job. And you look at what the result has been. They churn out players every other time that play at the national team. They go on to do good stuff. So it's a lot. The ones that want to make money, they're making money. The ones that don't make money is sad. And the most disappointing for me, for all these teams, would have to be Enyimba, with Kanu Nwankwo, ex-international, with all of his experience. I'm sure we'll talk about the bonus rule and all of that, but it's disappointing.
Well, let's just talk about it at once because I was waiting for us to get here. Trent, see where we are right now, and it's quite unfortunate that we about 2 episodes ago we were talking about where we've seen what Ahmed Musa has come in to do. He just stepped in, and things are beginning to change, and we've been saying that we need more of persons like this, ex-international, who understand the business. They've been there, they've played, they understand. Let them come in, replicate that here for us, okay? Now, the case of Kanu Nwankwo is different. He stepped in, we expected to see a lot of changes. It was when he stepped in that Enyimba disappointed us in CAF. Enyimba disappointed us by. I mean, how do
Inem
you?
is very simple.
How do you?
It's very simple. Where is Ahmed Musa?
Ahmed Musa is currently in Nigeria.
No, it's not just in Nigeria. It's in Kano,
Yes.
right? He plays with them. He trains with them. He's there. Where's Kano Wanko?
Kanu Anko, I understand, still lives in London.
How do you stay in London and minister a club here? It's like being a local government chairman. You are in the capital city and then you're a local government chairman. So you just visit your local government. Is it the same as someone who stays there, feels the pulse of the people, sees them every single day, interacts with them? They tell him their problem. He sees the problem firsthand.
So how do we deal with this? Right, how do we deal with this? Because now, a certain Brown Ideye came in, he said it's very poor how they treat players, the allowances and all of that, and how they owe, you know. And there was this response that we were treating you
They
well,
got $1 million
we were doing all
for
of
playing
this,
the African Football
So
League.
why would they be owing players? How can they not be treating their players well in terms of welfare and remittance of allowances? Why are we having that story from Enyimba?
It's priority. Maybe if Kano were there, maybe these things would not happen. Maybe it will still happen, maybe not at the level we're seeing it now. It's priority, right? We also saw a statement from Enyimba saying, oh, we're disappointed in you, Brown Ideye. You scored just 5 goals, you know. We put you in a 5-star hotel. We're flying to away games, which should be a normal thing. But making it look like they were doing Brown Ideye some favor. Do you know what Brown Ideye brought to the NPFL? What he did being here, same as Ahmed Musa playing in the league here. It's Brown Ideye. He might not be in the peak of his powers, right? But that's what we celebrate elsewhere. We see players from Argentina, Brazil, in the twilight of their careers, they go home. They're popular. That popularity reflects on the team, reflects on the league, the numbers as well. Do you know if they took advantage of Brown Ideye playing there, how many sponsorship deals they'll be able to rack in? If people were thinking.
So now
it's Brown Ideye.
So
he won the AFCON with Nigeria in 2013, right, in South Africa. It was very instrumental.
Yeah.
Alongside Emmanuel Amonike, Eminike rather, right? His hold-up play. He didn't get many goals. Maybe he didn't even get a goal at the AFCON. But what he did, just like Olivier Giroud, at the 2018 World Cup with France, he didn't get a goal. But his contribution, hold-up play, how he invited others into play, was instrumental, right? So Brown Ideye is that big. He's had playing career across Europe, from Ukraine to mainstream Europe. He's been there, played at West Brom. For all of the complaints, he's been there where things are done properly, right? See, it's the same Enyimba we had when Finidi came back, when Finidi was coach. Do you know Finidi used to pay his players for recovery sessions? That was his personal money, just to motivate the players, get them to want to believe in this thing, want to play for him. Because that's how it's done abroad. But guess what? The management of Enyimba told him, man, you can't do that. You're winning too many players on your side. So it's like Finidi against the management. He was told not to do that again. But in proper systems, he would be encouraged. Because he's investing his personal funds in this thing.
So why stop him?
His influence, his threat now. So the moment Finidi comes in, you think, oh, he'll be bigger than, maybe the chairman, he'll be bigger than the management. So players would listen more to Finidi than. But of course, they would listen more to Finidi because he's played football at the very highest level, right? He feels their pulse. See, for all of the heroics of Jose Mourinho, one of the things superstar players use against him is, you don't understand this thing. You've never played the game. At least at professional level. That's what the likes of Zinedine Zidane, likes of Carlo Ancelotti, that's where they thrive. He did this thing, was successful at this thing. So when Carlo Ancelotti walks in through those doors and tells you, look at Modric or Cristiano Ronaldo, this is how I want you to play, you'd listen to him. When Zidane tells you, do it like this, you'd listen to him. Why? He has the record. He did it when he was playing. So he's not just some manager that shows up after a pretty average playing career. He was World Player of the Year, played at the top level. he walked through those same doors. So when he comes and tells you, this is how it's done here, this is what this club represents, this is how we want to do it, you better listen to him or you get up. All right? But here's Finidi, came in, and then it's a Nigerian thing. They say, oh, yeah, Prophet is not appreciated in his hometown. Well, except Ahmed Musa. Because the story is different. Right? I tell you what, I think if the guy walks in, maybe after his playing career and wants to be NFF president, he gets a sweet, clear road. Why? He has a track record of, he's connected with his people all through his playing career. While he was captain of the Super Eagles, well, he's still the captain of the Super Eagles, right? Substantive. Yeah. Whenever they lodge here, I know the number of buses that comes from the north just for Musa. And it comes with goodies, boots, jerseys. He pays their transport. So he's investing, connecting with his people, right? So tell me how then, you think he was, if he was, let's say, John Obi Mikel that wanted to be general manager of his club, maybe some state club in Jos, Plateau United, for instance, except it was a pronouncement from the governor. Ahmed Musa didn't lobby to be there. It's a clear thing. You need this man. So I'm sure they begged him to be there. And he accepted the job. And it's the same thing. If you see, whenever he throws up, unlike maybe Eto'o and Didier Drogba elsewhere, I know politics is a part of the game. But guess what? He knows the politicians. They know him firsthand. They know what he can do. So he's been keeping tabs with them right from his playing days. So that transmogrification from playing career to administrative career won't be a difficult thing for him. It will be easy meal. Right? But where we began the conversation, why it's not working with Enyimba, you need to be there. You need to be there. Be there. You can't administer through sporting director. What he tells you might not be the reality on ground. I'm sure maybe Kano Pela or Kano Wanko might be embarrassed with the kind of messages he's seeing online. He might not actually know that those things are happening. He might actually know too. Right? But, what if he doesn't know? But I'm sure he would know if he were there. I watched an interview yesterday. The chairman of Manchester City, he was talking. Interview. They've got this tradition, beginning of season, talk about the ambitions, end of season, sit back, then media-wise, review the season. And that title-winning campaign where they won the 4th Premier League title, he said he was there in training. Chairman was there in training. And he saw Phil Foden after they were done training. He just stayed back and then was taking shots, aiming a goal. And then out of 6 shots, he scored 4. Top corner. And then he walked up to him and said, let's do that tomorrow against West Ham. That was their last league game. And that's the game they needed to win. And then, Arsenal were also in the conversation. So Arsenal needed them to lose, not to win, so they win the Premier League title. Mm-hmm. And guess what? He said he went there, told Phil Foden, that's what I want you to do tomorrow. Get those shots in, you get a goal. And guess what? 3 minutes into the game against West Ham, Phil Foden hit that same shot he hit in training. See, that's the chairman. So imagine Kanu Wanko being there in training with you, and then some of those boys trains with them actually because he still plays football. Maybe not actively, but we see him fly across the world, play testimonial games, and it doesn't look bad. Just like we see JJ Okocha. So imagine he drafts in JJ Okocha to train with the boys, shows them some tricks. Do you know what motivation that would be? But he can't do all of that. Why? He's not there. He's in London.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Bright James is still in the house, and this is the Locker Room Central. For those of you just joining us for the first time, please follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. Subscribe to our YouTube channel because this is where you need to be. It is right here where you get to hear things like this. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And Trent.
Yes.
The NPFL 2025-2026 season is about a few days from now. And it's quite interesting what we see from different clubs. We see players moving from here to there. Some people are really surprising me. Shooting stars are in the news almost every day. They are making a lot of buys. What do you think is going to be the outcome of this whole transfers as we see when the season begins?
Well, in the next 18 days, the NPFL will come back to our screens. But for shooting stars, see, it's one thing for you to sign, and it's another thing for you to make the proper signing. They are signing, but are they making the proper signing? That's where the question is. Ojo Oloreleke is joining them as their new goalkeeper. Former
Enyimba.
keeper. Anytime I just hear Enyimba, see, he's been a lot. He's been a lot already, but let's not mention Enyimba again, please. Till the end of this episode, let's not mention Enyimba again. But shooting stars, they are doing well. Sporting director, new technical advisor, new coach too, and everything. I really love the way that they are relating to the media too. They are making everything out there. Everyone can see their signing. Everyone can see what they are doing, backdoors and everything. It's not like them just going to pick a coach or a player from God knows where and come and join. At least you know the track record of coaches they are bringing in. You know the track record of players too they are bringing in. So I'm really happy. But now there's one thing that happens in the NPFL. When you prepare very well, you are likely to win the NPFL. But this is not the first time shooting stars are preparing. They prepared last season. They won 6 straight games. They had 6 straight clean sheets too. So they still bottled the league. No disrespect to them. Big boys in the league. So it's all about the proper signing. I said it before. So if they can make the proper signing, then we should be talking about shooting stars being a top contender for the league next season. But there is this team that's on the radar too. The past couple of weeks, they have been doing something like very nice. Plateau United. They have been there. They are doing this media stuff too that everyone has been clamoring for in the NPFL. At least I saw their friendlies last week. I saw their friendlies. They did some media stuffs. They brought in the starting lineup. They brought in the match review from the coach and everything. They brought in how they were going to the match venue and everything. So I think media-wise, they are doing well, but signing-wise, that's not what we have not seen anything about their signing yet. So I just hope that they do better. They do better because they were struggling last season. I can still remember season before last, they were not struggling, but last season they were struggling. So I think they are preparing well, and I really want to see them go far. Plateau United, it will not be nice from a team from just going down to the NNL. No, it will not be nice. So I really want to see them go far. While other teams, they are still dotting their I's and crossing their T's. Abia Warriors, they are preparing for the continent. Remo Stars too, preparing for the continent. Rivers United too, making signings too, preparing for the continent. So other teams, they are doing well. But the media aspect is what we have been looking for. We have been talking about because we are not the coach. We are not going to start giving you the necessary things, the strategy you are going to use to win your game. So all what we need is the visibility that your team, like your performance, everything that's happening in the team, we just want to see it out there because we don't want commotion. So that anytime a player is being owed a salary, we can bring a track record, we can bring the contract out and say, okay, this is what happened. And okay, we are going to defend you. But if we don't see that, there's no how we are going to defend you. I don't know why Bright is laughing, but I think he has something to say because he always has something to say.
Now, so when you talk about defending, Ojo Oloreleke has joined Shooting Stars, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how much he's set to earn?
No,
we've never
that's what I'm saying. That
that's
everything
what we
should
don't
be
hear from the NPFL.
That's what I'm saying. That everything should be visible.
No, it's not going to be visible.
It's not going to be visible. Why?
See, it's deliberate. Right? Those things are done. They're not happenstance. When they withhold those kind of information, they give you what they want to give you. Withhold what they want. But you see, when a player joins abroad, you can go on net and Google how much does Harry Kane earn weekly. How much does Kevin De Bruyne earn weekly, right? So I think that's also something that we need to start doing, right? There are many reasons. I won't just sit here and say, it's because they want to, take people's money. Yes, there's always the angle where they say, you're earning 500,000 naira on paper, right? But the player actually gets to walk away with maybe 300,000. Those things happen, right? We hear this kind of stuff here. But again, I think it's about the other part of it, the security as well. Right? So the player that earns 800,000, 1.2 million, you see how the players just walk around carelessly, like they just sneak around. They don't even sneak around. We see them very openly in the streets. So someone might be thinking to yourself, oh, so that guy earns 1.2 million, right? So security-wise, it's not really good having this kind of information again in public domain, right? So we need to balance it, right? So I won't just sit here and say, oh, it's because people are trying to, get a share of people's money. That's why we don't hear those things. But we need to also balance.
But how much do you think an average NPFL player earns monthly?
On an average, a lot of them I don't think, there are very few NPFL players that earn maybe 10-15% and below 200,000 naira.
Below 200. So an average NPFL player earns 200,000 naira. 10-15%.
Yeah. 10-15%, right?
Yeah.
So that's not average, right? So average out of 100% would be like 50%, right? So 50% and above 300,000.
Above 300.
There are players in the NPFL that earn over $1 million now.
Yeah.
Right? As bad as we think this league is, but it's a small number, it's a small percentage.
That earns more than 1 million naira.
Yeah, it's a small percentage, but again, you look at how much is 1 million naira?
Give me 1 million naira.
Yeah.
Give me 1 million.
Yeah, 1 million naira might be big for you because you don't have responsibilities, right? But giving them 1 million naira might not still be enough, right? You look at the cost of education for your kids, you're paying school fees. School will start again in September, so you have to in private schools, right? Those schools are very expensive these days. You get the kind of education you want for your kids, so you pay 600.
I'm a student.
Yeah, no, you're in public university. So how much is what's the highest you paid in school fees? Yeah, I graduated from a public university as well, right? Federal university. The highest I paid, despite the fact that communication was one of the highest paying departments in the whole of UNIO, was over 62,000.
That was it.
Yeah, over 62,000. I'm saying, but that is like chicken change for someone in a private university. How much is the thing? Is it up to 200,000? Absolutely not. The school is up to 200,000.
Did I say I'm in a public university?
Absolutely yes. You cannot afford to be in a private one, right?
Jesus Christ!
So you see, it's a two-way thing. But if there's more money in the league, maybe the players will be paid more. That's why you see our players run to Benin Republic. Players, Jordan is far.
Sudan.
Players live here for Togo, right? Benin, live here for Libya. Players live here because, whatever you're earning there, players live here for Ghana. Because whatever you're looking at, they're looking at the exchange rate, right? Imagine you play in South Africa. See where the rand is, the South African rand is compared to the Naira. So you change that. The rand is chasing dollars, right? The differential is not much. But you change, so you get that to Naira. It's a lot of money. So the 1.2 million Naira that looks big to you, it's not, because, come on, this guy...
It doesn't look big to me, actually.
It is, actually. You said, give me 1 million.
Giving me 1 million doesn't mean that it's big to me.
Come on, if I give you 1 million right now, I think you'd lose your head. Have you ever had 1 million in your account? Yeah, so that's not the conversation now,
Yeah, well, I just feel we need to get to where things will start working better in our football, because
we need to privatize the football.
Definitely. But how do we get there when some persons that would have laid the way, they are actually disappointing us at the moment?
No, those are clubs, right? Now, you can't also indict Kanu and Co, because we've seen Enyimba sign some partnership and sponsorship deals with companies in Nigeria and outside Nigeria.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe the books is actually good for them in terms of what they are getting. It's good, right? But are they showing the players that? Are they extending that to
is
the
a
players?
concern right now.
That's the conversation, right? It's not everybody that has money that knows how to give money, right? There's some people that very rich, but they don't just know how to give, right? So I think what we need to do for the league strategically is, first up, let's get private investors in the league, media partners, media production companies. So if you have production companies coming to the league, there will be a lot of money, right, in them.
Yeah.
And if there's a lot of money, you can share this money around the participating teams. And that's what happens in the Premier League. You think it's just the prize money for winning the Premier League, right? But the production money, what they get from TV rights, it's enough even to the least teams that go on relegation. So if some of these monies that we hear, TV deals have been signed, or TV rights or production, deals have been signed, if we get some of those money to move around, I think it would mean a lot for us. But we need to again be deliberate. How do we do that? It's a situation where everything needs to come to play. The refereeing has to be improved, right? There've been gains, but there's a lot more we can do, right?
Yeah.
Now, so you talk about the arrangements, right? Fixtures as well.
Yeah.
How we schedule the fixtures. I think we should run away from that practice of outstanding games. It's not nice. People play in the Champions League in Europe, right? They play Wednesday. They still come out to play league games here. But the situation where Nigerian team is playing the continent too, they have backlog of 4-5 outstanding games. So
6.
Right? So 6 outstanding games. That's some sort of advantage, right? Because the situation is porous here. So if it's somebody that has some funny tendencies, they can buy those matches, right? And they end up being champions, going to the continent to embarrass the nation. So we need to put everything in place. We have worthy champions emerging. How many referees from Nigeria do we have going to CAF tournaments? It's a reflection of the officiating here. I don't know why the referees committee don't challenge these guys. They think, getting 400,000, 500,000, a million naira, in discrepancies in league is enough. Do you know how much you'd get in extra coach if you're going to officiate a game in Morocco? The WAFCON just completed, right? If you're going to being one of the referees from Nigeria to go to the World Cup in USA, the exposure alone, right? And it's just sad. We need to
let's hope that it will get better, because as it is right now, it's quite unfortunate if I use that word. But talking about teams that are doing well, actually, the debutants also are not taking the back seats. They are showing us that they have what it takes to actually come up there next season and challenge for the title. Barrow FC have acquired the services of Ladan Bosu. Right, and we're talking about Ladan Bosu right here.
He ever won the league?
He's experienced.
Please.
He's been there.
All right. No indictment. The best we know of Ladan Bosu is the chairman, coaches, association in the country. All right. So he gets national team appointments. No indictment. I don't think he's a bad coach. All right. But he's not the kind of coach that you'd sign and then say, I want to win the title. He's not a statement coach. If you get Fidelis Ilechuko, get Daniel Gumudede, or get Abdul Maikaba, people look at you're serious. If the club now says we want to win the league, these are coaches that have track records, right? They're consistent in delivery across the various clubs they've been in. Now we talk about Abdul Maikaba. Went to Wiki Tourist, languishing in the 2nd division, NNL. I met him in the seminar in Ikene, and I talked with him. He said, we're coming back to the league. He wasn't mincing words. He wasn't saying we'll try to see if we'll come back to the league. He said we'll come back to the league. And they're back in the league. You can't look at the way they play and question how they are back in the league. So it's deliberate, right? So if Lana Boso says, I want to win the league, I think he's just trying to impress the Deputy Senate President, maybe get more money, he's not going to win the league. Let's be honest. Okay. Now, how are you going to win the league? You're a new team coming in. They've got brilliant set of players. This is not the NNL. This is the NPFL, right? They can pay salary, right? If the investor in the team decides to roll out. But can they do that consistently? This land on Boso was with Enyimba. They had all the money. Gordon Obaje was earning 2 million naira a month, 500,000 naira weekly. Did he win the league? In that kind of environment. The unveiling was done in the private jet. The first Nigerian coach, be unveiled. It was glamorous, it was big. Did he win the league there? He will come here and win the league. With what?
Well, let's see how it pans out in a matter of days. And also, Kun Khalifat FC have come out with a strong statement saying they are ready for the NPFL. They are not selling the slots in any way. They have what it takes to compete, and they will be right there to win the league as well.
I know Trent to talk about Kun Khalifa. Trent likes Kun Khalifa. But do you really think if the NPFL, right, if the NPFL did not come with that statement that you cannot sell the league, the slots, you think they will not sell?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe the NPFL about forced them into this situation.
I don't
Just
know
saying.
I don't know. I think it was right. Okay, maybe I would have said this behind the camera, but I think it's a situation of Atlant FC buying the slots, coming again and being relegated. I did not want them to buy it again this time around.
Maybe before Trent comes in, maybe we should look at the players and the technical team. It might still be Kun Khalifa, but maybe the Hadland setup they just exchange. Hadland goes to Kun Khalifa and Kun Khalifa, but they still keep the name.
No.
That's an aside.
I think it's something like an arc rivalry there because
Rivalry.
Yeah, it should be like a rivalry because
Where?
immediately Kun Khalifa said we are not selling the slot, paying went straight to Hadland. Then he now branch and diverted to Aqua United. Well, that's it because these were the two teams that were like, okay, yeah, we'll see what we can do, rally around. First, like it was always Atlant, yeah, because they were still looking for a place, a team that will sell their slots. But I think it's about rivalry because I really want to see that rivalry between these two teams from Imo State, Atlant and Kun Khalifa.
You think there was a rivalry there?
I think there should be because of the way it's in the southwest. It should happen in the east too.
I don't expect a rivalry.
Why?
Because for rivalry, you need to be in the same spot. Atlanta in the NNL. It's Kun Khalifa in the NPFL. So
They're
the bigger boys.
I understand. Yeah. There is this pain that you see a team that just came like 5 years ago. Yeah, Kun Khalifa 5 years ago.
Why would Hadland be pained? It's like saying...
Why would they be pained? They have fans. Their fans will be pained.
You're talking about the
It's
fans
just like-
now. You're talking about the fans now. Here is about the club itself, the structure, and
It's just
the
like-
prospect they have. You know?
There are some people that are older than Kun Khalifa and they have been having this NPFL experience. But now they were like, so I'll come and watch NNL and there is a team in my state that's playing in the NPFL. I cannot watch it. Like the rivalry is supposed to be there, just like we see in the European scene
I
too.
don't think it's a rivalry. I don't think rivalry cuts it. I think maybe challenge, right? Hadland FC should now feel challenged that Kun Khalifa, a new team that's coming, can be there. So they should be looking at returning to, the NPFL. If you talk about rivalry, then we can say Kano Pillars and Barrow FC. They're in the same state, Kano.
Yeah.
Right? So that's some rivalry. They're at the same level for all of Kano Pillars' achievements in the league. All right? Barrow, they're the new entrants, but, they're in the same pedestal. They're on the same pedestal. So they can now say rivalry. It was like when we had two states in, two teams, playing at the Pantani, Doma and Academy Warriors. Oh, no.
Doma and Gumbi.
Gumbi
United,
United, rather,
yeah.
right? They play at the same level. So you can say Kwa and Dakada. But where would they meet themselves, apart from maybe the FA Cup finals?
Me, I just know the rivalry because Atlant were always looking for a way to come back to the NPFL and I'm happy to be playing the NNL.
Right. Now, meanwhile, there's some media report. I don't know if there's credence to it, but I've seen publications somewhere. Paul Ofor is negotiating to come to Aqua United.
Yeah.
I think it would be good if they get Paul Ofor, right, and he's allowed the opportunity to, do his thing because I think it's one of the most, underrated managers in the Nigerian scene. He's a brilliant young manager. He's ambitious as well. He wants to make a mark for himself, and I think, Uyo, Akwa Ibom, Aqua United particularly, have history of supporting their managers. I can't tell of a manager that would say, under the current dispensation, he's come to you and then he's had undue external influence. They've always had that free hand rather. It's about what they do with the free hand. Right? We've seen Kenny Boy here twice, and Vaganaro here as well, Abdul Maikaba. Successively, I've heard the coaches talk, and I've never heard them complain of people selecting the team for them or what players, on the influence as to what players get in. So I think if he gets that kind of free hand, I think he would excel.
Well, right. Talking about Paul Ofor at this point in time for Aqua United, where Aqua United is now going to be playing in the NNL. Yeah. They've lost some players because it's a normal thing. Yeah, players who want to go out there and play in some better teams. Yeah. So Paul Ofor for Aqua United right now, where do you see? Do you really think that would work, considering the present situation of players that are there in Aqua United right now, and that thing of being relegated to the NNL and wanting to struggle back into the NPFL?
Even in international football, right? Leicester did it. When they were relegated, they kept a core of senior players. Got in some young players as well, right? The likes of Drew Spirit Hall and Marva Didi and the rest of them. They're back in the league. Now they're back in the championship. I thought Akwa United would keep the core of the team. I know that's like a difficult thing because NPFL salary is not the same as NNL salary. There are very few teams that are able to balance that in terms of how much they pay their players in the NPFL, and if they get relegated, right, they're able to maintain that salary structure. But I don't know why they will not, because for all of it, Akwa United, I don't know if the state government will reduce their wages or what they get subvention monthly, right?
Allocation.
Down. So if their subvention is not reduced, I don't see why. And then when we talk about players, last season, as it's been over the last 3 seasons, right, they had one of the worst set of players Akwa United has ever had in the club's history, right? So if you talk about playing squad, first team players, I think maybe 4 or 5 that you say, oh, they are worth keeping. The likes of Shea Ogunda, you see him, he wears his passion, the emotion on his sleeves. See the way he plays every match day. That's the kind of player you want to keep, right? Maybe you go to up front, maybe Uche Sebastian, right? At the back, Endurance David Diverias is left. But I think there are players in that team you can still keep. 4 or 5 players. Let's say they are 400,000, right? So you can keep them. Yeah, so if you keep them and get the extra players, because not all players at Akwa United are on the same salary scale. Especially the homegrown talents, right? They won't be on the 400s, the 500, except your Obon Friday and Nyekeme and Suko Pereira, right? But if you've not played your football to that level, then we'll look at 200, 250, 300, around that. I don't think that should be so much of an ask for them, right? They will now go to Dakada, I'm very sure. They'll go to Dakada and pick 2-3 players. They'll pick a defender from there. I'm very sure. I can't give you a name now, but I'm very sure, right? Negotiations are already in top gear. We'll pick a defender from there who has NNL experience, because in the NNL it's like going to the championship. You also need championship kind of players, right? So I think all of that needs to start early, pre-season. Paul Ofo would have his kind of players as well. There are players he would be able to attract to come to the team, right? So if he's able to attract them to come, fine. But preparation needs to start early for Akwa United. It's not so much of a difficult thing being promoted to the NPFL. If he was, Kun Khalifa won't be promoted. Bara FC won't be promoted. When you look at how young these teams are in terms of formation, right, and the level of exposure in the league. But it shows if you're deliberate, if you plan, you know what you want, and you focus on a goal, you definitely can get it. So I want Akwa United to be there. I want them to be back in the league. We have the best sporting facility, right, in the whole country. The only FIFA and CAF approved. So why would we have NNL? We can't play NNL football there now.
That would be quite a shame to play NNL football right there.
How can you play NNL football there? Right.
All right. Well, I hope things turn out to be better for the league right here. All the clubs preparing for next season will come up in top gear, and let's see competitive football. Let's see the difference from what we saw last season, and we hope it's going to be better. Stay right there. We'll come back immediately after this break. All right, welcome back. We are still here for you. And Bright, please, let's go straight to Morocco. Trends. We've had a discussion the other day where we were asking questions. I mean, why are they pained? It was sounding ridiculous to us why they are protesting, why they think VAR was not fair to them. Why are we having this? Why is CAF paying attention to this? When I can remember some years ago, when they started with this whole, what do they call it now? The lights, their fans, with laser lights, the laser, their fans were, carrying all over the place in the stadium. There's been conversation about that, but they didn't give it attention. So why this? Why do they feel that CAF should pay attention to what was, something that has been victory for the Super Falcons already?
CAF will always pay attention. CAF should pay attention.
Okay, now, CAF should pay attention to that. Yeah. But how about, I just feel, okay, now, I don't want to put sentiment to this, but again, I'm a Nigerian, okay? Yeah. There's been conversation about the laser. they didn't pay attention to it. And now, this time around, they are paying so much attention to the VAR conversation.
Now,
I feel it's a situation where Morocco is like, okay, we are hosting this tournament for some years now. We are giving so much to CAF. They should repay us with something.
Now, that's a conversation, right? Like it or leave it, they're the host. Which nation is investing on the continent of Africa is investing as much as Morocco is investing, in football. They're hosting basically every tournament there is, and you look at the amount of money they're putting in there, right? So that on one end, they're hosting the tournament. They've hosted the last two, and they're hosting, next year again.
Yeah.
Right. But that being said, whether it's Morocco or not, if there's complaint, CAF should look at it. Now you talk about laser, right? I know how much laser influence football decisions, but we know how much VR influences football decisions and the outcome of football games. Now, there will be pain because I think, except another miracle happens, but for me personally, I would say that was one of the turning points of that game. They scored that penalty, they 3 up. I don't see Super Falcons back in that game. So that's why they are pained. It was a turning point in that game. It was that important, right? It's a game, it's a moment that would have churned the course of history for them. They played at the last finals, and they're back in the finals again. And again, if you also look at it, you win some, you lose some. They may have lost this one, but it's also a big statement on CAF to say for future tournaments, because that would be a reference point, right? Future tournaments, you have to get the best. Because when you look at VR is not just a machine. VR is humans. The human beings that make the call, not the machines that make the call. They'll give you the angles, right? And I've watched the Premier League as well, and I've seen the VR, the way it's deployed, and I don't think it should be, because now during replays, when the referee is going to the monitor, they show him from just one angle. Meanwhile, in the production, you'd see beyond VR view, they give you from different angles, and I think that's the way it should be. So I feel like the VR sets up what they want the referee to see, and there are angles that the thing you look at it from, if it's a foul or not, it looks more glaring than another angle. But if you see it from another angle, it may be influence how or what decision you take. So I think VR universally, not just about the league now or in Africa, I think if they employ the multi-dimensional camera angle, I think it would help the referees. See from here, take from here as well, take from the front view, take from the back view. I think it will help the referee make a better, informed decision, rather than that thing they do, just one angle, right? That one angle, it looks like the moment you look at it, even from a fan perspective, I look at that angle, and to me, that's a penalty, if it's a penalty call. But when it's normal game, when they're showing it replays from one angle, the TV, the director are changing shots. You see from another angle, it's like, oh no, there was not that much contact. And we've been in those kind of situations. Yeah. So I think this Morocco thing, when Nigerians, would say, oh no, they're just being, Swan losers. But if there's credence in it, we should look at it. And I think CAF has got to look at it. Now, at that level, that's the final. It's the biggest on the continent. So the VR is there to reduce the error margin. So if it doesn't reduce the error margin at such a big game and in such a big moment in a game that would have influenced the outcome of the game, then I don't know why the VR is there. So if that means retraining for the VR or employing better people for the VR, I think it will make sense. So beyond saying they are sore losers, that this, CAF has got to look at it. We were in Libya, right?
Yeah.
We went to Libya when we had the whole, shenanigans from Libya.
Yeah.
So somebody would have said, why are they appealing? It's normal Africa now. They always do those shenanigans, right? It's not the first time that kind of thing has happened. It's well documented. But Nigeria, we took it up. And that changed, right?
Yeah.
The world now knows, oh, that's what they do. So the world is now watching to see how they do it going forward. So that's a precedent. So if Morocco pick this up and say, oh, this is a reference precedent, I don't think we should just look at them and say, oh, they are being sore losers. They have a case, whether they have a case or not, that's for CAF to decide. But to say they don't have a right to complain, I don't think anybody should be denied that kind of opportunity. CAF is open. It's open to everybody, right? CAF will be looking at the merits and demerits of the case. Have they got a case? That is for CAF to decide, and it's not the public opinion jury. We're not here. We would sit here and talk about what we want, but CAF would be there, right? Because if Nigeria was hosting that kind of tournament, making that kind of investment, wouldn't you say CAF should look at it?
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's not just about who is hosting. It's about the merit of the case. And I hope that is the precedent. The merit of the case and not whose ox is God in this situation.
Okay, I was just saying that because I know the next AFCON, we are still going back to Morocco. So so it shouldn't be that, okay, we are giving so much to CAF.
And the time is not, the time differentials is very short.
Yeah.
Very sure, yeah.
Right? So we'll talk about maybe September, October.
Preparation is already up.
Right? So they're preparing for the next one. Because you see them, they've made investments. You look at the coach they got. The coach helped Spain win the World Cup.
Yeah.
Right? So they made investment. You look at the brand of football, how they play. Right? They are one of the fastest developing, if not the fastest developing female football nation on the continent. They've made the investment. So they're not just saying, oh, because we didn't win this one. They're saying, we've done our homework, investment, training, we've gotten the best personnel, we've got the best playing quality. So don't deny us the opportunity to win because of one silly decision somewhere. That's their case.
Well, I hope it's for the best. Trent, Chan Eagles. They went there to Zanzibar, and some people say they don't stand a chance in this competition. What's your take on this, Trent?
See, there's always problem anytime we talk about male football in Nigeria. But you see female football, no problem at all, no pressure. But the Chan Eagles, see, there will be so much in this because they are playing against the defending champions. And I understand it's very difficult for a defending champions to win it again when you talk about the Chan tournament over the years. And that doesn't dispute the fact that Senegal cannot win Nigeria on Tuesday. But have Eric Sewuchel done his assignment well? Has he done his homework well? That's the big question because against Zanzibar, the first game it was a barren draw, a nil-nil draw. The second it was a 2-0 draw, 2-2 apiece. Now, and even in the second game, he considered like 2 goals. So that's a big statement. That's the problem because Zanzibar knew that we did not score in the first leg, and in the second leg they scored first. Not even scoring 1 goal, but they scored twice. But the Super Eagles were rallying around trying to get an equalizer. So against Senegal, and they will play against Sudan too before they now play against Congo. See, this thing is going to be very difficult because the level of the competitiveness in their domestic league is better than what we have here in the NPFL because, we want to talk about the teams there that strive in the continent, at least, even though they don't win it, but they try. They try more than teams. Okay, when you talk about the corruption and everything in the NPFL. So, and now you have 9 players from Remo Stars. I understand Remo Stars are the best team, in Nigeria, in the NPFL. But now you have 9 players. Obviously, you see about 4 or 3 players making the starting lineup against Senegal from Remo Stars. Now the rest squad is just there, and the selection process and everything, I think it will be very difficult. It's very difficult because this team was 35-man list, now cut it down to 23. Then basic players, important players left because they had a contract with other teams outside Nigeria. So I don't see the Super Eagles be going far in this tournament, but they are going to try their best. But I don't see them reaching the finals. I don't see them having any podium finish.
I think it's a good opportunity for everybody, right? It's a good opportunity for Eric Chell. I'm sure there are players he would have in the course of this competition from the training camp that he would have a look in and say, okay, they could have a shot at the national team. That's the win for me. That's a bigger picture for me, and not just this competition, right? Even if they're not invited now, he knows those players and he'll keep monitoring those players because good thing is Eric is in the country, but as compared to previous national team coaches. So the league is starting. I'm sure he would go around So if he goes to Ikene, for instance, and sees Ismaila Sadiq, he knows how he plays and sees that Ismaila Sadiq is consistent. He could give him a look in one of those national team games. I mean, with the Super Eagles 18, right? Yeah. And I think that would be good for him. And Nas Yusuf, be good exposure. Now, yes, the likes of Papa Daniels, Xavier Isaac have left, right, to sign deals which bars them from playing the competition. But those sports have been taken up by other players. So I think it opens the vistas for other players. Now, for us as Nigerians, I would say we should temper expectations. Even in our glory days, when our league was, did we win the CHAN? Our best finish years is silver, right? So why are we making it look like if we don't win this one, people are going to head to road? No, that's not it now, right? That's not it. We've never been in a position to say, oh, we're favorites to win this competition. So why are we doing that now? It's, Eric's first assignment with the CHAN Eagles, right? And I hope the likes of Ogumode there and Fidelis Ilechukwu been drafted in there, they help him because they understand the players and they know these players a lot better. Yeah. I hope Eric is furnished with the information, right? The well documented information about these players so he can see how best to deploy them. And talk about information, that's another thing for me. I've always talked about it over the last couple of weeks now. I listened to Junior Ndoka talk in his first press conference ahead of the first game against Zanzibar. And he said, we'll see what they bring tomorrow. Right? When he made reference, he said, we don't know how they play. We'll see what they bring. And that also is an indictment for me. So how do you play a team you know nothing about? So you only wait for the match situation to see what the team brings. I think that's dangerous, right? So if it's a scout we need to send to see these games, see these teams, how they play, I think the coach needs to know, needs to be furnished with that information. Yes, Eric would be, better informed because these are Francophone countries, Senegal, Congo, and he quite knows them. Maybe he knows the coaches and knows some of those players as well, right? But we're not going to meet all Francophone teams in the competition. So I think we need to invest in that scouting as well. The coach should be properly briefed on how these teams play, who is their star player, and all of that. So you better prepare, not to wait to be embarrassed on the pitch like we did against Zanzibar and then we're trying to react. I think we should play the long shot, right? Not this reaction, because the reaction might fail you. At times you're looking to react, but you're already 4-0 down. We've seen teams come from 4-0 down, to win games, but you might not always enjoy that kind of luxury. It happens once in a while, and you might not be treated to that. But I think we should temper expectations with the team. Let's look at the bigger picture, as I said earlier on. It's Eric's first tournament with the CHAN Eagles. He's getting to know these players day by day and bit by bit. So, it would be exposure. There are plenty of these players as well that will play at that tournament and not return to their previous clubs, which is a win for me, for a football ecosystem. There are players that will pick from there to South Africa, pick to Egypt, right? And you look at how much money they will earn then, how it impacts their family, impacts their immediate ecosystem. I think that's a bigger picture for me. So we shouldn't just look at whether we win here or we win there. I think there are wins elsewhere. It depends on how we look at it.
Okay, at the end of it, it's not a win for the fans. Yeah? It's not a win for the fans.
Well, that's why I said the fans have to temper expectations, because now they say our football is a subsect of the economy, right? Yeah. Is the country working? The country is not working. We won't expect the football to work, right? Now, these teams that play here, these players that play, they are the same players we see represent us with Remo Stars, Rivers United, the teams that play at the continent. How do they perform? So we expect them to just do magic to be so good to go to CHAN Eagles or the CHAN Championship and be so good to win us the tournament.
Some people have this mentality of collective effort, because it's not like the same set of players. Like all Rivers United, it's the best legs from Rivers United, best legs from Remo Stars, best legs from Rangers International.
No.
And collective effort.
Best legs from our league, best legs from the NPFL.
Sorry.
That's what it is, right?
So sorry. Remo Stars, they're dominating the squad.
Yeah.
Right? How has Remo Stars performed on the continent? I get the idea. Say it's not like a Remo Stars or Rivers United thing. We're helped with the opportunity of getting the best legs from all around the country. Right?
Yeah.
Well, can we say these are the best legs? The fans are still mourning over Xavier Isaac, Papa Daniels, and some of these players that have left. right?
Yeah.
Because these are the guys that form the spine of the team during the qualifiers that got us here in the first place. They're not there,
To be very precise.
right? They're not there. So you don't think that affects the team? That's why I said we should temper expectations, all right? Even when we had the Ejiko Zonyi during the week, we had him voted in the Hall of Fame, Chanigos. He was there when Nigeria won the Nations Cup in 2013. He featured 2014 as well for the Chanigos, and they went on, to win silver, which is one of the best we've had. The Godfrey Bwabonas that played at the competition, they played there as well. The Solomon Kwambes, they played there. Ejiko Zonyi the guy was something else. Played for Rangers that season, diminutive guy, maybe we can say our own Messi at the time, but the guy was good, right? And then to have him voted in the Chan Best 11 Hall of Fame, it means something. But even when we were exposed for that kind of quality, did we win the tournament? Has the league, can we say the league has so improved from that time to now that, we're in a good position? Or is it the Sekuchel, effect that we're saying, he's there, he brings his expertise? But the manager is at the mercy of the players he's got. If you don't have, they say, it's like in sound. They say, the best a good sound can get you or a bad sound can get you is a good sound. But if the sound is good, you can improve it to be better or can be the best. Right? The squad now we have, can we say it's a good squad? If it's a good squad, then we'll expect Eric to improve on the squad, to make it better, to make it the best. If the product is not good, no matter how good Eric is, he's at the mercy of the players. He won't score goals. He won't defend. He can only stay on the touchline and scream.
Well, I think
he would take out Ismail Sadiq maybe for a worse player if he doesn't perform well, or Junior Ndoka, right? It's at the mercy of the players. So that's why I said, let's temper expectations, right? Say he who has no expectations, your hope cannot be dashed. When you don't expect, they all go surprises. They surprise us, so they reach final. It's a good thing, right?
I should not hope.
Eh?
I should not hope on them.
Do you hope in the Super Eagles? That's the main thing. You do not. So why do you hope on the Chan Eagles? let's be realistic. Anyway. Super Eagles surprised us. We went to the Nations Cup last time with Pissarro, got to the final. We were surprised. We're all surprised. Let's not pretend as though we're not surprised, right? They surprised us. That's the main team. So the B team now is the team who pack all of our hopes and put inside. Yeah, good luck.
Good luck to you Nigerians on this one, but whatever it is, I hope it's the best for all of us right here. And as a Nigerian, I have been offended. Offending Ademola Lookman is offending me personally. I don't like what's happening. It happened before now with Osimhen, and now it's happening again. Africa's best. I think they are underrating us. They are not respecting us as it should be. It's funny, yeah, but that's what it is. They are not respecting us, because if actually they accord us that amount of respect we deserve, it wouldn't be like this.
Why?
Every club in I stand to be corrected. Every club in Europe needs an African player to do well.
Well, maybe not.
At least for the past couple of years. I mean, that's what we see happen.
Maybe they don't need the African players. Maybe they need the African players to be minority in the squad. That's not to downplay the African players.
But Bright,
when you consider, you cannot invest that much in African players when you consider the timing of the AFCON.
But Bright, as of this situation right now.
Look at, December, January is almost like a defining moment in every league. That's when they lose the players. Now let's see. Liverpool. They got lucky, right? Mo Salah.
Mm-hmm.
Did he play at the AFCON? Season just completed. There was no AFCON, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think if there was AFCON, you won't have a bearing on Liverpool. 29 goals he contributed for them. He got the most assists. Right?
That is a star player.
Right? Now that's a star player. But now take out Mo Salah for 6 weeks or 8 weeks if they got to the finals. What does that leave Liverpool?
Well, Egypt won't get to the finals.
I'm just saying, let's say Egypt get to the finals.
They won't.
Right? Right? No, let's be real now. Let's say they get to the finals, so you're missing the player for 2 months.
Yeah.
So take out Musa for Liverpool for 2 months. You think they win the league? These are the conversations, right? So that's one side. It's a unique thing with our calendar, and I think that's what also makes the tournament unique, right? Yeah. And we shouldn't change that for anything. That being said, we've also seen one of the most expensive players in Arsenal's history, Nicolas Pepe, in Africa. Osimhen has smashed transfer fees twice when he moved to Lille, from Lille to Napoli, from Napoli now to Galatasaray. So it's not like the Africans are not, appreciated, but there are dynamics in the play, in the politics of football, right? Who is Osimhen's agent? Who is Lookman's agent? How influential are they? They are super agents. We talk about super agents. How does Eric Choupo-Moting plays for some of the best clubs in the world?
Even Joao Felix.
Is he better than Osimhen? Mm-hmm. He moved from Stoke City to PSG. Stoke relegated to PSG. Moved from PSG to Bayern Munich. He's played in some big teams. And so you go back and look at his agents. Willian has swapped outside Europe for Europe at almost like a will. Who is his agent? Joao Felix you talk about now hopped around the top teams across Europe. Who is his agent? Right? So, for all of the things we talk about African players and how much they're not valued, who is their agent? There are people that are called super agents. The late Mino Raiolas, the Jorge Mendes, every top quality guy that comes from Portugal, Jorge Mendes. And he picks them, he picks it, the biggest teams. Right? And I looked at Roberto Calenda, Osimhen's agent. I tell you what, if he was Jorge Mendes or Kia Jeropkin, Osimhen would be in Liverpool now. I've said it before. Liverpool needed a centre forward. They're still struggling now to get Isak. Is Isak better than Osimhen? I can't say he's better than Osimhen. Right? He's not better than Osimhen. Liverpool needed a striker. Napoli were interested in getting Darwin Núñez. That's a brilliant window. Sell Osimhen, give Osimhen to Liverpool, right? And get Liverpool to give Napoli Darwin Núñez and pay extra 30-40 million. I tell you what, that deal is done. But I don't know, nobody was thinking in that direction. Again, it looks at, so who's your agent? The best player on the continent of Africa, Demo Lookman, is saying 50 million euros for the best player on the continent. Mo Salah is how much? Mo Salah is in 33, right? It's in his 30s. Mo Salah is to be sold now. Mo Salah would go for nothing less than 90 million. Is Mo Salah not African? He's African. We've seen the same with Osimhen. How much did the Saudi club want to pay him? Look at his wages. They're willing to match that twice. Last summer, before he left for Galatasaray, and this window again. But he said he wants to play in Europe. It's not a function of Africa. It's a function of the negotiating power. Who is doing the deal for you? So we shouldn't just put it as. We've seen African players go to big clubs.
Akraf Hakimi.
But there's this conversation from Lookman saying that the club, he feels the club is deliberately halting the process of making sure he will not go.
Victor Gyökeres' father cried before Gyökeres joined Arsenal. Is he African? Right? Harry Kane. He wanted to leave Spurs, handed a transfer request. Daniel Levy did not allow him leave. Bayern had to pay the valuation, what Tottenham thought Harry Kane's value is before they let him go. There are some people that are shrewd negotiators, and those top guys in Italy, they're shrewd. Going to imagine Aurelio De Laurentiis, the president of Napoli. He's shrewd. It doesn't matter if it's Ronaldo or Messi. He'll get every ounce of the money. Okay, Ekitike. How much did he go for? 79 million pounds. Why? That's a player they bought in 2022 from PSG for 14 million. Right? They held out, and I looked at the statements. They said, we cannot sell, even when Newcastle offered 70 million for Ekitike. His best goal return in the league is 15 goals from last season in the Bundesliga. His first in the Bundesliga, 15 goals. Can he match Osimhen's number? No. Right? They said, there's interest. So for someone to offer 70 million, other teams will be willing to pay more. So we want the best possible amount for this guy. They sold him for 79 million. So I don't think it's an African thing. We shouldn't reduce the conversation to say, oh, he's African. Atalanta, no, Dembele is one of their most prized assets at the moment. So they want to get the most. That's why there's the extra clause to say, for any team in Italy, for a team outside Italy, 45 million euros will get that deal done. But there's that extra clause. If they consider you as competition, that's AC Milan, Juventus, Inter Milan, they're saying you must pay at least 50 million euros to get him. So how is that so much to ask for? Yes, Inter Milan are willing to pay only 43. The highest 45 right now here. Right? But I don't think we should reduce the conversation to Africa. He's one of their most prized assets. He single-handedly handed them the Europa League, the first in the club's history. So you think they should just allow him go for because he wants to leave and he's African? No. It's about negotiation. Right? And every club to have a Dembele Lookman, right, would be looking to get the most for a Dembele Lookman. That's the conversation at the moment. So I don't think we should reduce it to African. But for me, for Nigerian players, I think our players are worth more. Some of our players need to be more ambitious, right? You also get better agents. Better agents will get you better deals, right? They'll get you better deals. Samuel Chukwueze signed to Jay-Z's Rock Nation, right? To be able to get some deals, good deals too, because they know if they get good deals for the player, the company also gets something good in return. Those are what super agents look out for, right? Now we had Bryce Samuel. He's left Turkey. He's left for the championship. And then there was that rumor. He's come out to say no, they're just trying to blackmail his father. He said his father asked for XYZ, which is not out of the ordinary. Agents will always demand, come on. Manchester United a couple of years ago wanted to get David Silva and David Villa for 40 million euros from Valencia. Maybe that deal would have gone through. The agent said, I want extra 20 million. Because he knows you'd spend 60 million on one of those players because of how good they were. Right? But Alex Ferguson said, nah, I can't pay an extra thing if the transfer fee is all. And that's it. And they lost those two players. Right? Teams will be willing to. So, Olashitu, he did the deal for Mikel. Right? That meets the whole AYC saga. I'm sure there was something Chelsea gave him extra. Right? Extra incentive now to say, oh, we need that guy, get us that guy. William was on his way to Tottenham Hotspur. Right? Chelsea just cornered him, the deal. As Tottenham were waiting to get William, waiting to welcome William, the next thing it was reported he's heading to Chelsea. You think the agents didn't have a hand in that, or there was no, you call it incentivization, right? There are incentives you need to put in there now to get certain deals done. So I think the agents need
from what we've learned here so far, the conversation is beyond what happens in the pitch of play. It's more of, the business is more than what happens in the pitch of play. So we should learn more, do better. We should invest more, because this is business and everybody wants to make profit from this business. Absolutely. Right, thank you so much for being here. I mean, it's we love the fact that you came here and you've really dived deep into the conversation so far, and I'm sure viewers have learned a lot.
Thank you.
You guys are doing
you guys are doing a great job. Big ups to the entire team for the fine work. I'm sure episode 10. Sure, very soon we'll be celebrating 10 years. Right? Yeah. And this is a good product you guys are selling, and I hope the clients buy it. So I like more money for all of you guys. Yes.
All right, definitely.
So maybe Trentman can finally get $1 million in his accounts, and then I think that will be good for him.
All right, thank you very much, Bright. Trent, I mean,
Yeah.
this was extensive and I really enjoyed today's episode.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. Yeah, having someone I grew up listening to, like it's a privilege. So, but one thing I really want to thank is our subscribers reaching 100 subscribers on YouTube. Yeah, we reached 100 subscribers. Thank you very much. You guys are like the reason of this show for this show. So, please on that notification button. That's what we really want. Like, share, comment, have your own bites too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, for always being right there with us all through from the beginning of episode 1 and now episode number 10. Thank you so much. Make sure you follow us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. We are right there for you. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. Bright James, once again, thank you so much. I mean, I've learned a lot from you as one of us here, and it was interesting to have you around. My name is Bill. Bye-bye. This is the Locker Room Central.
You're gonna love it.